They call it the drought, the great male loneliness, an epidemic of touch starvation. I call it the harvest. You see, I made a decision 2 years, 7 months, and 14 days ago. I would no longer drink from poisoned wells. My name is Leo, and in the ecosystem of modern dating, I am an extinct creature. I work in a glass tower where desire is traded like a volatile stock. Chloe from compliance made the first offer. It was over a shared Uber after a client dinner. The city lights streaked across her face, and she said the quiet part loud. We're both adults. My place is closer. No strings, just physics. Her hand was on my knee, a transaction waiting to be finalized. I removed it, not with disgust, but with the precision of a surgeon removing a benign growth. The strings, I said, are always there. They're just invisible until you try to leave. She called me a robot. The stock ticked down. Then there was Maya, a consultant whose intellect was a sharp, beautiful knife. We spoke in algorithms and existential philosophy. For 3 weeks, it was a duel of minds. I felt the old, weak part of me, the starving dog, stir. Then, at the peak of a debate about Kantian ethics, she leaned across the restaurant table, her eyes glazing over from the wine. Let's go back to mine and stop thinking for the night. The intellectual collapsed into the biological. It was a bait and switch. I paid for the meal and walked her to a cab. The thinking, I told her, is the only part I'm interested in. She called me a coward. The dog went back to sleep. My friends staged an intervention. You're not a monk, you're a malfunction, they said. They showed me profiles, carnival of curated souls. Look at her. What's wrong with her? They'd demand. My answer never satisfied. Nothing and everything. She's a response to a market. I'm not shopping. The loneliness, when it came, wasn't a scream. It was a silent, expanding universe inside my chest. I sat with it. I named its constellations. Integrity, autonomy, peace. They glowed colder than the warm, messy light of entanglement, but they were mine. The change happened on a Tuesday. A new hire, Ilara, in data analytics. She did not send signals. She did not linger by my desk. For a month, we exchanged only the necessary language of work. Then, during a catastrophic system outage, we were the last two in the war room. While the managers panicked, she found the flaw, a single line of code I had missed. She didn't gloat, she simply pointed. Here, the ghost in the machine. We fixed it as the sun rose. Over terrible break room coffee, we didn't talk about ourselves. We talked about the architecture of silence, how true quiet is not an absence, but a presence. We talked about the arrogance of the self-made and the comfort of craftsmanship. No subtext, no transaction. We began to have lunch, always in the atrium, always surrounded by people. It was a public, deliberate non-affair. The gossip flared and died, finding no fuel. Then, last week, she transferred to the Singapore office. It was a promotion she'd been working towards silently for years. Our last lunch was like all the others. At the end, she stood. She didn't offer a hug, a wistful look, or a promise. She placed a single worn book on the table between us. Marcus Aurelius. The spine was cracked, the pages annotated in a tight, precise script. For the ghost in your machine, she said. He understands walls and why some doors aren't worth the breach. She walked away and didn't look back. That book sits on my desk now. I have not texted her. I have not felt the pull of the starving dog. I feel only the vast, quiet universe inside me, and for the first time, the sense that somewhere in its infinite expanse, another star is burning with the same clean, cold, and untouchable light. They call it a drought. I look at the cracked spine of a dead emperor's thoughts, and I know the truth. I am not waiting for the rain. I am learning to breathe underwater. And in the silent, pressurized dark, I have finally heard an echo.